and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here again this afternoon as we head to North Wilkesboro Speedway for round number 2 here of the Outcast Racing League as drivers hopping out there onto the racetrack here for their qualifying session, looking to lay down their quickest lap times here this afternoon. It's my boy Joshua Neal. Josh coming in, showing the love with the like on the stream. How are you, Josh? How are you doing this afternoon, brother? Coming in, showing the love, smashing the thumbs up here on the broadcast as the Williamsburg Contracting, Shenco Custom Diecast, the N Sea NSB, and the RT3 Designs LLC crew coming in, and every one of these drivers ready to go to battle this afternoon with the Outcast Racing League, which should be a ton of fun. 200 laps the distance. There are 2 stages as well, so 2 different times that drivers can earn some stage points in their hunt to try and pick up the championship here this afternoon. Now, we've seen a lot of drivers, come and go and everything else, and, we're going to take a look here at how these playoffs have taken shape already. There's quite a bit. There's quite a bit that's happened here already. Obviously, last week we saw a bunch of drivers get eliminated, so we went from 16 down to 12 as round number 2 here of our playoffs has come upon us. So 4 drivers were eliminated, 12 drivers move on, still in contention here for that championship. Unfortunately, I do believe it's Johnny Thunders, Wayne Garland, Josh Bromfield, and Anthony Garland were all eliminated last week in the playoff hunt here this year, and that's a tough break for Anthony Garland. He's been right there and so close to picking up those championships the last couple of years and just hasn't been able to get it done, and this year he's not going to be able to make his way into that round of 8. So that's what we're looking for here tonight in our next race. Is we're looking to try and find those 8 drivers to move forward into our season finale, where they will duke it out. 1 race for that championship, and 1 driver will stand at the end as our champion here of the Outcast Racing League for, I do believe, season number 8. Season number 8 already, absolutely insane. As you do see Cameron Combs, David Duran Jr., Colton Manich, Caleb McKinney, Al Reed, Kurt Sponsler, Chris Muse, Casey Gross, Lance Brantlinger, Mike Killingbeck, Brandon Puffenbarger, and Adolfo Castillo still in the battle here this afternoon for that championship and still looking to punch their tickets into that next round. So they're going to be looking for those stage points, trying to earn some extra points throughout the day to help advance them towards that round of 8 or potentially picking up that win. You win and you're in automatically into that round of 8, and there's no better way to know if you're a part of that championship 8 than just winning a race and putting yourself right on through. You have your own destiny in your hands, and that's what each and every one of our final 12 drivers here of the playoffs is looking to do this afternoon. As we'll get them all ready to get going here. Qualifying has come to an end, and we'll get them stacked up, racked up, and ready to go for our main feature event. As out in front, starting on the pole, one of our playoff drivers, it's Colton Manich. Manich will start in the top spot. To his outside, that is Caleb McKinney. Starting in position number 3 in the 99 ride, that is Chris Muse. To his outside in the 31, it's Adolfo Castillo. Starting in position number 5 in the 23, the WeatherTech ride, that is Austin Smith. To his outside, man from Ireland, it is the Elite Sim Racing ZZX Digital RT3 Designs ride of Al Reed, who will start there in 6. Brandon Puffenbarger will start back in 7th with Joshua Neal. To his outside there in 8th. Corey Crowell in the Midwest Sim Sports number 20 ride will start in the 9th position. To his outside in the 21, it's the Lugnuts Racing ride of Daryl Whitford. And then we see the 77 of Casey Gross, the 70 ride of Mike Killingbeck, the 84 of Wayne Garland in the, I believe, the 02 ride, that is Chad Lancaster, who will start in 14th. And we still see David Duran Jr., Dom Salvo, Cameron Combs, Wayne Garland, Johnny Thunders, Kurt Sponsler, Billy Jordan, rounding out our top 20. Then we see Gary Wright, Robert Tuiscu, and Lance Brantlinger bringing up the rear of the field here. So there's still a lot of drivers ready to battle, ready to duke it out here in this one. One thing Only one Garland I did see in the field here, Wayne. The only Garland out there. So no Anthony Garland, no James Garland here this afternoon. A heartbreaker there for all the Garlands. Only having Wayne out there battling here this afternoon. We're used to seeing all three Garlands out there on the racetrack and battling out here on the Speedway. Not tonight. We only see Wayne out there here in this one. As Saskatchewan says, good luck, fellas. Get it done. Get it done, he says. How are you? How you doing this evening? Hopefully you're having yourself a great afternoon as we get ready to play here in iRacing as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation. As quickly Colton Manich onto the loud pedal. Manich looking to try to open up a bit of a lead here between himself and Caleb McKinney as he's looking to clear that 76, but Caleb stays right there to his right rear quarter panel. But down through quarter number 3 and out of quarter number 4, it's going to be that 00 of Colton Manich who leads lap number 1 here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. A little bit of short track action here this afternoon, and we do see one driver running into issues already. It's the 84 rider, Wayne Garland. Wayne already going a lap down here, already running into some issues as he unfortunately had to go down pit road here. What may have happened? Yeah, so it looks like Wayne Garland unfortunately starting down on pit road as he gets back up the speed, gets rolling here onto the racetrack. You see our race leaders right there behind him, and they make quick work of him, put him a lap down, and that's a heartbreaker for Wayne as he's going to be starting even farther back now behind the 8 balls, already a lap down and already running into those issues. And another one of our drivers, part of our Championship 12 right now, Lance Brantlinger, just in front of him, but he's going to catch a lucky break as the caution flag will fly. So Wayne Garland will get that free pass, the lucky dog, and back onto the lead lap here as Lance Brantlinger going to stay on the lead lap as he was getting very, very close to going a lap down. But Al Reed in the ZZX Digital Elite Sim Racing number 3 ride down low. Looks like he's going to get close to the 23's back bumper. Has to check up a little bit, but as he gets back onto the throttle, unfortunately just a little bit too low right there, and the rear end kind of slips around on him. He has to lock that car up and almost hits that inside fence. Luckily enough, no damage done to any of our competitors there. No inside wall contact for the 3 right of Al Reed as he's able to catch that car and keep it, for the most part, out of trouble here. But he's going to lose quite a bit of track position as he was up inside our top 10. Will now find himself outside our top 20 as he works down low right here. Just kind of a weird angle that he has to take, trying not to get into the 23 and just off the throttle, back onto the throttle, and just kind of makes that rear end hop, skip, and jump a little bit, and he goes around. We'll probably see that a lot here this afternoon. Let's go, James Garland. James, how are you, brother? James coming in, showing the love with the like on the stream. How are you, Mr. Garland? How you doing this afternoon? Again, James Garland and Anthony Garland not in attendance here tonight. Wayno out there all by his lonesome here, and unfortunately already running into some of those issues. We saw him have to start down on pit road. He got rolling there, quickly went a lap down, but is in line for the free pass here as we do see Mike Killing back down pit side here. Killing back down pit road. This has been an extended pit stop for the number 70 ride. We didn't see any issues here for Killing back, but he's been down pit road for quite a little while here. I'm not sure if he may have gotten into the outside fence. Doesn't look like there's any damage done to the 70 ride. The car looks like it's fine. It's rolling fine here on the racetrack, and fortunately, even as that caution flag comes out, everyone else getting checked up. It doesn't look like any contact here, but he has been down the road for an extended period of time, and for Mike Killingback, that is an absolute heartbreaker as he's down pit road. He's fallen even farther behind here, multiple laps down now, and continuing to slide farther and farther back. So I'm not sure what's happened to the 70 machine. We'll see if we can try to get a quick word in with him here at one of the points of this race, if he's still in the Discord, and see what may have happened here to the 70. Is, man, that's a heartbreaker for Killingback. I don't know. We're going to need a track reporter down there to figure out what's gone wrong with him, as we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing. Killingback still down on pit road as we are back to green flag racing. Colton Manich in the Williamsburg Contracting Shenco Custom Diecast 00 ride quickly back onto the loud pedal as he continues to lead the way. Door to door. Back there behind him is Chris Muse trying to work his way around Brandon Puffenbarger. Puffenbarger trying to keep himself there in position number 2. But look out! There goes the 99. Chris Muse goes around out of corner number 4, and we see the caution flag come back out. So a heartbreaker right there for Chris Muse, working his way into second, and virtually the same as we saw with Al Reed, just coming out of quarter four, back onto that throttle a little bit too hard, a little too quick, and unfortunately the rear end just steps out and around on him right there, and he does a great job as well here. You all see Cale McKinney. McKinney's going to get a little piece of his back bumper there. Doesn't look like too much damage to either of those drivers, and you do see the 99 ride slide down the racetrack. He does get a little kiss there into the NASCAR Cup Series banner there on the pit wall, but luckily enough, not too much damage done to the 99, but that is definitely not a spot you want to be, definitely not a thing you want to see if you're battling up there at the front of the field and looking for a good run here as the Shenco Custom Diecast, the Fast Track Automotive number 99 ride, running into those early issues here this afternoon. You want to make sure that at least you can get these early issues done and dealt with here early on, and you don't have to worry about them anymore, and now you can kind of just focus and try to regain that track position and try to make sure you don't have a late race issue when it's too late out there on the racetrack to make a mistake like that. If you run into a mistake like that, you know, within the final 30 laps, 40 laps, 50 laps, anything like that, you know, you may not have enough time to battle yourself back up through the field for a pretty solid finish. So you got to be very, very careful and very blessed that you run into these issues this early into our race, as Colton Manich, he's just hitting his marks, sitting out front, making sure he doesn't make these mistakes on the restarts and keeping that 00 ride pointed in the right direction as he continues to lead the way. Puffin Parker there in second, Caleb McKinney back into third, as Austin Smith there in fourth, Adolfo Castillo there in fifth. Then we see Joshua Neal up into the sixth position, Chad Lancaster up 7 spots on the racetrack for the N Sea NSB 02 ride as he's rolling there in position number 7 on the racetrack. Darrell Whitford there in 8th, and then we see David Duran Jr. He's up 7 spots as well here on the Speedway as the Cartwheel number 51 ride. 7 spots inside the top 10, now in 9th. He's going to have Corey Crowell to his outside, rounding out our top 10. Kurt Sponsler, Casey Gross, Dom Salvo, and Robert Tuwiscu, Johnny Thunders, our top 15 here on the Speedway is still Cameron Combs deeper in the field here. Combs back there, Chris Muse back there, Lance Brantlinger all the way back there, and Killingbeck still down on pit road as we go back to green flag racing. Colton Manich will see that green flag fly once again. Another great run down into corner number 1 and out of 2. He will lead us down the back straightaway. So Colton Manich out in front, showing these drivers how to get it done. Here in this one is Puffin Parker back there in tow. Here comes Austin Smith. Smith trying to work his way now around the Overton 76 machine of Caleb McKinney. McKinney trying to hold on to position number 3. Unfortunately, he's going to lose that. Now opening up the door for Adolfo Castillo to work down low here as he tries to work that PeaceMaker Gaming number 31 ride down to his inside. He's going to get very loose there on corner exit. I think that's going to be the big question all afternoon on when do we see those issues, you know, like we already saw with the 99 ride of Chris Muse and what we saw there with the 3 of Al Reed. When drivers coming out of these corners, man, the cars seem like they can get very, very loose. The rear ends get very unstable, and seen already 2 cats run into those issues, especially there at a corner number 4 as you do see Al Reed back up inside the top 15 here as he's worked himself around Billy Jordan and a bunch of these other drivers deeper in the field. As now here comes Cameron Combs. Combs up into the 16th position as he works himself around the 14 ride. Gary Wright there in 18th with Chris Muse. Lance Brantlinger rounding out our top 20. Wayne Garland back there in 21st with Johnny Thunders back there in 22nd. Killingbeck still down on pit road for the Lawrence Tech Williamsburg Contracting racing ride there on pit road, and he is now a lot of laps down. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be able to really gain too many positions. He probably won't be able to gain a whole lot of those laps back, but if he does roll back out there on the racetrack, if other drivers run into issues and they go down pit road for an even longer period, then he may be able to at least leapfrog them and gain enough to pass a few cars here this afternoon, which could be a make or break in his championship hopes. lineups here this afternoon as Colton Manich, Brandon Puffenbarger, Austin Smith, 1, 2, and 3 here on the Speedway. McKinney and Joshua Neal now inside our top 5 as David Durant Jr. now finds himself into that 6th position, up 10 spots on the racetrack. Him and Kurt Sponsler both are hard chargers on the afternoon. So far to this point, both up 10 spots. David Durant Jr. up into 6th from 16th, and now Kurt Sponsler from 20th up and into 10th here on the racetrack. So Sponsler's working his way up through the field here as well. Same with Casey Gross, as Gross there in position number 9, now joining our top 10 here on the racetrack. So some great racing, some great battles all around the Speedway. Drivers continuing to try to work their way up and through the field and towards the front of the pack here. But right now, it's only been Colton Manich. Manich has been the only driver out in front to lead a lap here this afternoon. The All-Seeing Motorsports Williamsburg Contracting 00 ride, the Christmas and Grinch theme here this afternoon. Looking beautiful, looking fresh out there on the racetrack, and he's looking pretty solid here early on in this race. Already out to a 1.2 second lead between himself and Puffenbarger, as Puffenbarger starting to feel a little pressure from the WeatherTech 23 of Austin Smith. As Smith is right there on his back bumper. As we do look back throughout the field, we do see Johnny Thunders running into some issues here. Let's play this back and take a look as Thunders coming out of corner number 2. Down the back straightaway, looks like he's going to lose that rear end, getting back up onto the throttle. He just kind of loses the rear end. It sends him down towards that infield wall. Luckily enough, he's able to catch it, save it, keep it pointing the right direction, and keep it rolling there on the Speedway. Unfortunately, Johnny finds himself all the way back at the rear of the field in the 22nd position here. And right now, he's at risk of being the first driver to go a lap down here on the racetrack. Well, not technically the first, but he will be the first driver a lap down if he gets past right now, as we do have the 70 rider Killingbeck still down pit side here. Now, I'm not sure what's been going on with the 70 rider, what the crew's been doing, but they're just kind of standing around, really not doing much, so I'm not sure what may have happened to the Lawrence Tech University number 70 ride here this afternoon. But they've been working on this car. They've been trying to get it fixed up, trying to get it back out there on the racetrack, but I don't think they figured out what's actually wrong with it or what they need to do to fix it up and get him back out there onto the speedways out in front. It's still Colton Manich. Manich continuing to lead the way, continuing to stretch out that race lead. Now almost 2 seconds between himself and Brandon Puffenbarger. So a 2-second gap now between first and second as it's starting to heat up back there for that 5th position. David Durant Jr. trying to find his way around the 82 of Joshua Neal. Joshua trying to find his way around that 76 rider, Caleb McKinney, as McKinney right there at risk of sliding a little farther back, but he's trying to hold on to that 4th spot here on the Speedway as he sits right there in position number 4. And here he goes. He's going to look to now make his move around Brandon Puffenbarger, as we just saw Austin Smith make that pass and take second away from the number 5 ride. So Austin Smith into P2, Puffenbarger back to 3rd, and now has Caleb McKinney right there on his back bumper. Same with Neal and Durant Jr. Casey Gross now up into 7th here as he's able to work his way around Corey Crowell and Kurt Sponsler. So Casey Gross now into 7th with Crowell right there behind him. Kurt Sponsler there in 9th, and Cameron Combs now making his way inside the top 10 as we see the caution flag fly. Oh, brother, a couple of our drivers at the front of the field and a couple of our playoff contenders collected here in this one as Caleb McKinney gonna go around here. Let's take a look and see what happens here to McKinney. So McKinney rolling there in 4th. He's looking to get a big run. Here comes the 82. Gets a run to the inside. Unfortunately, gets in there a little too deep. Washes up the racetrack and washes right into that right rear quarter panel of the 76 ride. You see Caleb McKinney, just nothing he can do except for hang on. He's trying to drift this car, trying to save it. Unfortunately, the 82 still on him. Takes him around, and you do see David Rand get some damage there. He did see the 77 of Casey Gross slide in here and get a piece of this as well. As there's the 51. Here comes Casey Gross, and then here comes the 31 rider, Adolfo Castillo as well. He's going to get a little contact there into the back end of that 77 ride as a pair of Quantum Motorsports teammates coming together there on the bottom part of the racetrack. And now I do believe, take a look back here, I think that Adolfo Castillo was a lap down, or potentially multiple laps down here, as he was down pit road. So Adolfo came down for green flag pit stops here. Maybe being one of the first drivers to do it. And as he rolls back in onto the racetrack, he finds himself a lap down and nowhere to go here. Now on the bottom side of the speedway is there's a couple drivers parked right there. So it'll be very, very interesting to see what happens here to the 31 ride. If he stays on the lead lap, if he gets a free pass, or potentially a lucky dog to get that lap back. So be a little wild, as we do see the 76 run of Caleb McKinney bringing up the rear of the field, but it is Castillo who's all the way back here now in 22nd and finds himself still at least one lap down here, maybe potentially a couple laps down, but we'll wait and see. His tough break right there for Adolfo, because he was up inside the top 10 there for quite a while of this race and trying to make that gamble, trying to come down pit road, and all of a sudden, he finds himself in a bad position. As Sasquatch Kane says, by the way, the announcing on the channel deserves some respect. I love it. I love it. Yes, absolutely. I appreciate that. Definitely deserves some respect, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys want to help show the respect here on the channel for the announcing here on the race this afternoon, you guys can help us out. It's absolutely free to do. Helps us a ton. All you got to do is hit the like button on the broadcast. Hit that like button. Hit the share button if you're feeling generous, but make sure you hit that subscribe button. Become part of the PeaceMaker family here this afternoon as we go back to green flag racing. So the green flag quickly back out into the air as the 00 of Colton Manage looking to try to pick up our first stage win of the day, but Austin Smith trying to hang right there with him. Smith continues to work to the outside. Now looks like the 00 will clear him and pass that number 23 machine, and Manage will stay at the front of the field as Smith slides back into second. Smith going to try to mount another challenge, see if he can find a different lane and a different way to get around that 00 ride here this afternoon, as no one has been able to pass Colton Manage here this evening. Brandon Puffenbarger back there in third with Joshua Neal and David Duran Jr. now our top five here on the speedway, as Corey Crowell back there in the 6th position with Kurt Sponsler. Now Reed back inside the top 10. Cameron Combs there in 9th, and Darrell Whitford there in position number 10. Robert Tuiscu, Dom Salvo back there in 12th with Wayne Garland, Lance Brantlinger, Billy Jordan, Casey Gross, Chris Muse, Caleb McKinney, Gary Wright, and Johnny Thunders rounding out our top 20 here on the racetrack. Adolfo Castillo does find himself a lap down here on the speedway back in 21st, and now Chad Lancaster somewhere or another. Chad Lancaster has disappeared from the server. A heartbreaker, as Lancaster was having himself a day and now no longer out there to play, and he is sliding more and more laps down here as these drivers continue to race on the racetrack. And Mike Killingback back there still down pit road here. I don't know what's happened to Killingback, but he's been down pit side for majority of this feature event. As my boy Chris Pilo coming in, showing the big love here in this one, coming in not only with the thumbs up on the broadcast, but coming in with the 200-star dono as well. Says, let's go Shenco, let's go Chris Mother Fluffin Pilo, as the All-Seeing Motorsport Shenco Custom Diecast Williamsburg Contracting 00 ride of Colton Manage continues to show his dominance here in this race, as he's looking to pick up heat race win number 1 on the afternoon and try to use that to his advantage, trying to work his way into that championship 8 in just a couple weeks. If he can pick up the checker flag here today, it'll automatically lock his way into that championship 8 contention, but he's just got to be safe. He's got to make sure that he can gain as many points as possible. You never know what may happen or how the track or car may change late in this race. And if something happens where, Austin Smith or any of these other drivers back there behind him can jump up and pass him, or use some different fuel mileage or pitch strategy to beat Colton here this afternoon, Best way to work your way into that next round is just maximize your day. Get as many points as possible. If a win does present itself, if you can't get it, then that is good. That is great. And you don't have to worry about it in the next race, but you still got to worry about trying to get as many points as possible until that checkered flag has been displayed, because you're never safe out there on the racetrack. But right now, he's looking pretty good here in this one. No one's been able to pass him. We've seen a couple of drivers trying to challenge him on those restarts. They haven't really been able to hang with them for very long. Smith doing the best job so far, only a couple of car lengths there off his back bumper after about 4 or 5 laps of the restart. So Colton Manich, he's set up perfectly here in this one. He just cannot make any mistakes, cannot lose that track position, trying to keep this 0-0 line at the front of the field. And we're going to see some of that strategy play out probably here in stage number 1 pit stop. So green flag still on the speedway, but the stage is about to come to a close as Austin Smith slides backwards. Smith out of 3 and 4 did not get a great run, and that allows Brandon Puffenbarger to get back around the 23 ride as Smith slides back to 3rd, but it is Colton Manich out in front. The completion of lap number 50, which is right now, we will see stage number 1 come to a close here this afternoon. Waiting for that 10th driver to cross the line as stage number 1 is going to come to an end here as Colton Manich going to pick up that first stage win here this afternoon. Now, we haven't seen the caution flag come out. There it is. There's the yellow flag. So stage number 1 coming to an end here after 50 laps of racing action, and Colton Manich being that winner of stage number 1. Puffenbarger back there in 2nd. Both going to earn themselves some pretty good points here in the championship battle. Smith and Joshua Neal, they're in 3rd and 4th. Corey Crowell there in 5th, with Kurt Sponsler up into position number 6. A great run there for Curtis. He jumps into that 6th position with Cameron Combs. And then we see everyone else starting to come down pit road already. So very interesting calls here as we do see Colton Manich going to stay out on the racetrack. Colton not going to come down pit side, so he's going to be on quite a bit older tires than a lot of these other drivers, as Kurt Sponsler also going to stay out here. Kurt not going to use up his extra set of tires down there behind pit wall. We did see Cameron Gomes down on pit road on lap number 5. Now, I don't know if he used tires or not, but we did see Chris Muse come down pit road after his slide, and potentially new tires on the number 99 ride. But we do see Puffenbarger, first driver out of pit lane, and you'll line up in position number 6 here as here comes Gary Wright down pit side. So Wright's going to give up his track position, and he'll go down pit road as trying to stay out right there as well for an extra lap, and now heads down pit side. As Chris Pilo says, Colton using that skills we showed him, consistency and tire management. Yeah, consistency is key anywhere you go here on the simulator, and definitely tire management when it comes to, you know, the older surfaces, the older racetracks like North Wilkesboro, man. It can chew up tires pretty easily, so being able to keep yourself, you know, from kicking that rear end out around, not spinning that car, not driving it too hard into the corners, trying to save as much tire as possible, and then using that extra set potentially back there behind pit wall late in this race could really open up the door for the 0-0 to make some moves, make some passes late in the race, maybe put himself into that winning strategy here this afternoon. As the lights are once again turned back off the official iRacing pace car, we will get ready to go back to green flag racing. Colton Manich out in front, Kurt Sponsler there in position number 2. Robert Tuiscu back there in 3rd with Cameron Combs, and Brandon Puffenbarger right there as well as our top 5 on the racetrack as Chris Muse slides quickly back into 6 as here Colton Manich goes again, once again. Quickly, another great restart for the 0-0 ride. He clears the number 49 and quickly start to pull away from Robert Tuiscu. Tuiscu rolling there in position number 2. Kurt Sponsler right there behind him, but man, Kurt They're doing a great job here, and he hasn't been down pit road yet. Same with Robert Tuiscu. So both of those drivers, especially the 49, who was able to still get some of those stage points, still looks to have quite a bit of tire left in this 49 ride as the caution flag does come back in. It looks like Johnny Thunder's going to run into some issues here. So looks like some contact there between the 84 and the 51 ride, as Wayne Garland and the 51 of David Rand Jr. are going to make a little contact here. Let's take a look at that as Wayne just gets in there a little too tight, trying to not hit the 60 ride, and then we go down the back straightaway. Ooh, there's more contact. Oh, heavy hit there into the outside fence. A tough break right there for Johnny Thunders. That's a big hit for the number 60 machine, as looks like that battling still to his outside. See Billy Jordan way up the racetrack. They come out at quarter number 2, 3 wide right here. I don't think David Duran Jr. was realizing that. He comes down the racetrack, gets a piece of the 84, and then gets a piece of that 60 ride. Unfortunately, just the wrong spot into the 60 machine, into that right rear quarter panel. Just kind of hooks him and spins him around up the racetrack and hard into that outside fence. See Dom Salvo here. He's trying to keep himself from in any of that trouble, and he gets a little slideways right here as well. Luckily enough, looks like he avoids any contact there or any major issues. But for Johnny Thunders, the scene cannot be. So let's see if we can jump back on board here with the 60 ride, see what he can see from the cockpit, and see what happens here, as he was just kind of rolling on the bottom side of the racetrack trying to mind his P's and Q's, and all of a sudden right here, bam, gets hooked. Nothing he could do except for hang on and enjoy the ride, and now the crew going to have to go to work to try to get this car repaired and back out there onto the racetrack and back into racing condition here this afternoon, as he is down pit side and has been down there for quite a few extra laps as well, and now finds himself multiple laps down. Chad Lancaster still not back into the server, so I'm not sure what's happened to Lancaster, and Mike Killingback still down pit road as well. So it's a tough break for a lot of these great competitors this afternoon, as we'll take a look here at our playoffs. As you see that round of 12 there, Cameron Combs, David Durant Jr., Colt Manich, who's been having the best day out of any of these drivers here, the 00 at the front of the field. We saw Cale McKinney get tied up into an issue. We saw Al Reed go around. Kurt Sponsor has been having a great day. Chris Muse we saw already go around as well. And then we saw Casey Gross get tied up in one of those caution flags as well. Lance Brantlinger early in this race missed the start. Had to start from all the way back down pit road here. So that hurt him, and then Killingback down pit side and not out there on the racetrack. He is still down pit road and finds himself multiple laps down, as we do go back to green flag racing here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Colt Manich picking right up where he left off as he continues to stay at the front of the field. 2, 3, 4 wide back there behind him. As Chris Muse goes up the racetrack, it opens up the door for a few drivers to work down low, as here comes Johnny Thunders. Thunders working his way back out onto the racetrack. So good to see Johnny at least jumping back out here onto the speedway. Not giving up on the afternoon, unfortunately, though. Multiple laps down now for the number 60 machine after that contact, as Puffenbarger, one of the drivers with the fresher tires, works himself up into position number 2. But Cameron Combs says, I'm not done yet. He's going to try to battle back to the inside of that 5 right, as the 00 of Manich just looking to try to pull away and put some good distance between himself and that battle for that second spot on the racetrack. Joshua Neal there in 4th with Robert Tuiscu trying to hang on to position number 5. Austin Smith working down to his inside, as a couple more drivers getting collected, tied up here. One of those being Kurt Sponsler, another one of our championship contenders here. Sponsler going to run into issues. Caution flag back out onto the racetrack. So Sponsler down low here, as they were 3, almost 4 wide here at North Wilkesboro Speedway down the inside. We're going to go 3 wide again. He goes up the racetrack. Unfortunately, gets a piece of Cale McKinney. McKinney getting tied up in this one. Brantlinger also right in there as well, as 149 just has to get a weird angle into the corner, being so far down there. 3 wide. Unfortunately, 76 coming down. He kind of comes up. They make a little contact here. McKinney trying to save it, as you do see the 51 ride. David Duran Jr. also going to get some damage there, as well as Casey Gross, Lance Brantlinger. So a bunch of our playoff drivers kind of all right there in that one. A lot of them coming into some contact, as Take a look at Caleb McKinney, see what he kind of runs into again here, or if he gets any additional contact after the initial hit here. He's getting sideways, trying to hang on to it here, and looks like he's able to keep it from getting any serious damage, so that's a good break for him. But tough break for Kurt Sponsler, tough break for Lance Brantlinger, David Duran Jr., bunch of our playoff competitors again running into damage, running into issues here, and we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing. As out in front, Colton Manage continuing to show these drivers how to get it done here in this one. As Outcast Racing League says, get them laps, boys, get them laps. Yes, Sirski. These guys putting down some great laps, some great fast laps out there on the speedway, man. Is right now, fastest lap of this race is the 00 ride. The only driver that's had fresh air and clean air and nobody in front of him here for a couple laps. And he's got the fastest lap, but it's very, very close. A 19:06. The fastest lap time there for Colton Manage. Puffenbarger, I do believe, in position at number 2 with a 19:09. So both of those drivers showing some pretty sizable lead. And some pretty sizable lap times right there, man. Those are very, very fast laps out there on the racetrack. I do believe Austin Smith fastest lap is a 19:17, so they're about a 10th of a lap faster than our third fastest driver on the racetrack, and that is mad impressive there. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing, Colton Manage going to see another green flag fly, another restart here for the 00 down through the Geico restart zone. He quickly puts that hammer down and quickly slides back in front of the 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs going to try to stay right there onto his back bumper, though, as here comes Puffenbarger working down low underneath the 82 of Joshua Neal. Neal trying to stay right there to his outside, as here comes Robert Tuwisku. Tuwisku working the outside groove here to pretty good perfection for one of the drivers to yet come down pit road, not on those newer tires, and he's hanging on solidly here, especially using that outside lane at North Wilkesboro Speedway. As Austin Smith continues to work down to his inside, see Corey Crowell, Chris Muse, L. Reed, and Wayne Garland right there. Is more contact down low, upside down goes the 84. Red flag on the racetrack. Red flag is the 84 ride of Wayne Garland goes upside down. Heavy damage here. Oh, brother, what did we just witness? Is Wayne getting that car rolling here? Unfortunately, way too much damage to this car. He's going to have to get stopped down here on pit road and get the safety crew out there to check on this 84 machinist. Let's take a look back and see what happened. Wayne Garland to the outside of the 21 run. It's the Lugnuts Racing ride at Darrell Whitford. They're battling here. Now all of a sudden the 84, he's out in front of these guys. He gets into the back end of the 3 ride right here. It kind of tightens them all up. Contact into his back end makes him lose that car. And then you see Billy Jordan, the 21, come together. The 84 just goes hard into the infield tire right there, protecting that pit wall. And unfortunately, just the way he hits that and the speed he hits that, take a look at how quickly this one happens again here. It's a heavy hit. This car goes airborne instantly, upside down on top of the pit wall. Comes back onto all 4, and as he goes around, we still see, a couple of these other drivers running into issues back here. Kurt Sponsler, nowhere to go in the 49 ride. Kurt's running into this. He doesn't really have a game in that match, and unfortunately Casey Gross in there as well. So another couple of our playoff competitors running into issues here. So watch the 77 ride down low. That's Casey Gross. Casey, he sees it. He's trying to get up and out of the way as the 21, the 14 slide in there. The 84's up in the air. Casey gets a little contact right there, then head on for a bit with the 21 ride of Whitford. And same with Kurt Sponsler as he gets into Whitford, then gets into the outside fence, and then has Johnny Thunders run into him as well. So 3 corners of that race car just getting some pretty serious contact for the 49. The right front pretty busted up there for the 77 ride as wowzers. Some big hits right there. Luckily enough, we do see Wayno back out there on the racetrack, able to use that quick repair and get this car back into one good solid piece and keep on rolling here on the speedway. Fortunately, now finds himself back in 19th and one more chance at that one. You cannot run into another issue like that, or else you may find yourself down pit road for an extended period of time. We do see Billy Jordan. He is down pit road. He has not came back out onto the racetrack yet, so he may be out of those quick repairs, and that may put him multiple laps down. Johnny Thunder is able to get another lucky dog, trying to get himself back onto the lead lap as Wayne Garland does find himself now a couple laps down as well. The 21 ride of Daryl Whitford, still that damage on the front end of the 21 ride, did not come down pit side, but he does have quite a bit of damage, but still on the lead lap, sitting back in the 18th position. As Kurt Sponsler and Casey Gross right there in front of them. Two of our Championship 12 continue to try to rebound on their day. They also have Austin Smith back there with them as well, as Smith came back down pit road trying to get some changes done to the 23 ride, and now has to try to work his way through a lot of this traffic. Is out in front, Colton Manage continuing to show these drivers how to get it done. Here comes Cameron Combs, though. Combs put the pressure to his back bumper. This is the first time we've seen anybody really stay glued to the back bumper of the 00. Does Colton Manage hang on to the race lead? Does he stay that reflection of perfection, or do we see the first competitor to find a crack in the armor of the 00 and make that first pass for the race lead here this afternoon, as the 00 has led every single lap here in this one, as Outcast says, holy smokes, Wayne. Yeah, that was a holy smokes moment right there for Mr. Garland out there on the racetrack, as Outcast says, hope he has his quick fix still. He did have that quick fix, luckily enough, and Wayne became Superman. He definitely became Superman out there on the racetrack, man. That was absolutely wild as he took flight and went airborne there, man. That was a scary sight to see, but luckily enough, we get to see Wayne keep on racing and keep on battling out there on the racetrack. As out in front, Manage, Cameron Combs, Brandon Puffenbarger, our top three. Joshua Neal back there in fourth with Corey Crowell now rounding out our top five. Robert Tuiscu there in sixth with David Duran Jr. trying to work to his outside. Now here comes the 99 of Chris Muse. Muse trying to rebound from his early spin in this race. And we see Austin Smith trying to work his way back underneath of the 76 rider, Caleb McKinney. McKinney's ran into a couple issues throughout the day as well, and unfortunately stuck about mid-pack after being out at the front of the field for a little bit here in this race. He started in second and stayed there for a little while, tried to challenge with that 00, just could not get the job done, as now you do see Robert Tuiscu sliding him backwards here. Tuiscu trying to stay up there inside the top 10. Unfortunately, these drivers starting to really work their way around him here, as here comes Dom Salvo, as Salvo working his way up inside the top 10 here, as well as Al Reed, as he's looking to rebound from his earlier spin. Lance Brantlinger, who's unfortunately missed the start of this race and to start down pit side early on, had to give up a lot of track position, but does find himself sitting here in 13th, just trying to mind his P's and Q's. His contact right there in front of him. Caleb McKinney tied up in another one. Caution flag on the racetrack. Caution flag out here once again, as Caleb McKinney going to run into another issue here on the speedway. This is about the third time as you see the 6 ride. I'm not sure if he just loses the rear end there a little bit, comes down the racetrack, and unfortunately kind of right in front of the number 76. Now, I don't know if there was initially room there for him or not. Does look like he's clear of the 76, looking like he just gets back on the throttle. Rear end kind of comes down and around on him, and it just forces him down into that inside lane as McKinney trying to get back up to speed. Al Reed going to get a little front end damage there after contact with the back end of the 76 in the 6 ride, and a little bit of front end damage for him, but you do see the 76 down into the inside fence there. Pretty good contact there for him as he hits that inside wall, and caution flag coming back out. So another yellow flag, another issue here for Caleb McKinney as he'll head down pit road and look to get this 76 ride fixed back up and back into one piece, and try to get back out there onto the racetrack as Kurt Sponsler also down pit road, continuing to get work and service done to the 49 ride. Robert Tuiscu, he's going to come down pit road here in the RT3 Designs Elite Sim Racing Outcast Racing ride, as he'll head down pit side as well, as Woo, baby, some craziness here at North Wilkesboro Speedway as we inch closer and closer to the end of stage number 2. Stage number 2 coming to a close at the completion of lap 100. So when we see lap 100, that means that we are at that halfway marker. We are halfway there. We are halfway home and 100 laps left to go, and that's where we will end our second stage here on the day as Colt Manich continuing to lead the way. He's looking for that stage to win another advantage here and trying to work his way either points-wise or by a win into that Championship 8 battle. He wants to be part of that championship hunt. He wants to continue on his championship aspirations here this afternoon. So as the lights are off, the official iRacing pace car, he's going to get ready for another big restart, trying to keep all these drivers back there at bay. He looks to play here at the front of the field for another 111 laps of racing action. Is nice and easy down out at corner number 4. The pace car will pull off the speedway, and that will hand the race back over to the 00 as Colton managed quickly back onto the lap pedal, looking to clear that 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs sends it in deep, almost makes some contact there with that left rear quarter panel, but he's going to get the door open here as he's going to try to stay down low on the 00. Here you go. Maybe our first pass for the race lead here this afternoon is there. Goes the Rockstar Energy number 15 of Cameron Combs as he will take the race away here on lap number 91. So it took 90 full completed laps till we see the first lead change of the afternoon, and it's Cameron Combs from fairly deep in this pack. He was back starting in the 17th position, now finds himself out in front as the 00 starting to feel the pain here of those older tires. His drivers starting to work their way right on around him and quickly giving up that race lead, slides back now into position number 5 as Cameron Combs leads the way here. Combs did come down on pit road on lap number 5, so he's got a little bit older tires as well, but may have saved them a little bit better than that 00 and using them at the right time to take that race lead as David Duran Jr. up into second. Austin Smith there into third as the 99 of Chris Muse now into fourth with Colton Manich back there in fifth. Brandon Puffenbarger, Lance Brantlinger, Joshua Neal, door-to-door, Adolfo Castillo, and Dom Salvo rounding out our top 10. But Salvo has the 49 of Kurt Sponsler now lurking to his outside groove as Sponsler did come down pit road. Potentially got those fresh tires there on lap number 86 and now trying to use them to his advantage, looking to try to gain some extra positions here before the end of the stage as David Duran Jr. slow up there on the outside of the speedway. Looks like David Duran Jr. ran into some issues here. Looks like him and Mr. Smith getting together. Smith gets in there a little too deep, gets into the back end of the 51 ride. That's going to get him kind of bent out of shape and quite a bit of damage here. Honestly, the loss of all that track position as he almost goes around. Luckily enough, saves it, but now finds himself deep in the field here as the caution flag does fly. That's before the end of our stage, as I do believe Adolfo Castillo going to run into issues. Let's take a look here at the 31 ride. As contact there between him and Brantlinger. And around goes the 31 up into the outside fence, and that will bring out the caution flag. See if we can get another look, another angle at this one as, man, I'm not sure if 31 came up or the 8 came down. Maybe a little neck coat or a little bit of both right there as, fortunately, just down the back straightaway, they're running inches off of each other, and I think the 8 came down a little bit. Unfortunately, neck coat helping it out right there and hooks that 31 right around. He goes and up into the outside fence and rolling backwards here on the speedway, and that's where we'll see that caution flag fly. So a tough break there for that 31 machine. A tough break for the 51 as he's down pit side trying to get his car repaired and back up there onto the speedway. We did see Joshua Neal also down pit road. Colton Manich also making a pit stop here. So Manich going from inside our top 5 after giving up that race lead, now all the way back in 16th. So we'll have to wait and see how this car handles in this deeper track position and see if he can try to work his way back to the front of the field as he sits back here in position number 16 now. Here on the afternoon is we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing, as I do believe we may see a very short run to the end here. We may see the caution flag stay out to finish off this stage as lap number 98 of 200 up on the board. We're going to finish 98 right now, so I'm not sure if we're going to get a 1 or 2 lap shoot. It does look like we're going to see a probable 1 lap shootout here this afternoon. So we'll start lap 100 here when we go back to green flag racing. At the completion of lap 100 is where stage number 2 will come to a close here this afternoon. So a 1 lap duel to see who can pick up stage win number 2 here on the afternoon. Is the 15 ride of Cameron Combs looking to get the job done, but he's got a lot of fast cats all around him here and a lot of different drivers trying to use that pitch strategy to their advantage as you get a good restart right here. But here comes Chris Muse. Muse looking to the outside of the 15 ride. Austin Smith right there as well, ready to bounce, ready to try to take that spot away from the 15 machine. Cameron Combs trying to hang on to it as here comes Smith down low. He's looking to move around Chris Muse. Muse gets up into the outside fence, is down across the line. Cameron Combs will pick up stage win number 2. A 1 lap shootout, and it's Mr. Combs who hangs on to that top spot, able to pick up that second stage win of the afternoon. Austin Smith there in second. And we see Chris Muse back there in third after getting up into the outside fence, just trying to push that car on that final couple corners. Unfortunately, washed up the racetrack and into the wall. Hopefully not too much damage there for the 99 as Brandon Puffenbarger up into position number 4, and Kurt Sponsler going to round out our top 5 here. So Sponsler able to pick up another good run here in stage number 2, trying to earn himself as many points as possible, trying to advance himself into the next round of our playoffs. Branton there for the first time, he's going to finish off the stage up inside the top 10, and also for the 19, the 20 ride as well, Corey Crowell, they will round out our top 10 as we get everyone ready to go back to battle here, as we do see Austin Smith going to stay out on the speedway. He was last down pit road on lap number 73. Kurt Sponsler last down pit road on lap 86. Same with Corey Crowell. We do see Cameron Combs back out here onto the racetrack already. He will come out in position number 4, but shows that he did not come down pit lane there on lap number 102. So not sure if he's staying out or coming back down this time. Here he comes. So I'm not sure if he missed his pit stall or what may have happened here, but a big mistake right there for Cameron Combs, and that's going to lose him a lot of track position as he gets down into his pit box here. The crew's going to go to work as he's the one and only driver now down pit side here on the speedway. Stewiscu up into 4th, then we see Joshua Neal there in 5th. Colton Manich rolls out there in 6th with Wayne Garland and David Duran Jr. Our top 8 here on the speedway, all not coming down pit road here during this caution flag, as Brandon Puffenbarger, first driver, coming down with the fresh tires here on the racetrack after a lap 102 yellow flag. Grant Linger there in 10th. Casey Gross, Dom Slavo, Hal Reed, Chris Muse, Adolfo Castillo, Daryl Whitford, Caleb McKinney, Gary Wright, all coming down pit road there on lap 102. Cameron Combs will now be at the back of the pack after his pit stop there on 103. Then Johnny Thunders, still the first car, 1 lap down with Billy Jordan. Chad Lancaster and Mike Killingback off of the racetrack here. So tough break there for Billy Jordan as he's taking his car down behind pit wall. Same with Lancaster and Killingback still down in his pit stall here this afternoon as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Austin Smith with a quick restart right there, quickly jumping out in front and looking to use this fresh air, the clean and no traffic in front of him, as we do see one driver. Look out, Casey Gross gonna go around, and the caution flag will be displayed here once again. So another quick yellow flag as Casey Gross runs into some issues. Let's take a look at the 77. So far, so good. Just looks like things kind of get bottlenecked right there. Unfortunately, Al Reed all over his back bumper. They make a little contact there on corner exit as looked like Puffenbarger getting into the back end of the 48 as he has to check up for the 84, sorry. He's getting checked up. The 77 of Casey Gross has to get checked up, unfortunately, as they kind of get accordion effect right there. Al Reed does not see everyone kind of checking up down low. Gets into that 77. He goes around, and you do see Caleb McKinney trying to avoid him, ends up getting up the racetrack and into the 21 ride of Whitford, and Whitford comes down the racetrack into Al Reed, and there goes Caleb McKinney around as well. So McKinney, Gross, and Al Reed, 3 of our championship 12, all getting tied up here in this one. So really nowhere for them to go. They're trying to avoid it as you see the contact in front of them between Gross and the 3 machine, and then Caleb McKinney trying to avoid it, gets into the 21, goes for his slide after getting a piece of the 21. The 21 gets a big piece there of Al Reed. Luckily enough, doesn't look like too much damage there to Al's ride, as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here once again as Austin Smith continuing to lead the way. We'll have to wait and see if we can get some good green flag laps under our belt here as we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing, and we're going to get ready to jump into a quick PeaceMaker Gaming Crank It Up. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here for this restart, I want you guys to crank up that volume and get ready to cheer on your favorite drivers. Let us know in the comment section who you're cheering for, who you want to see up here in victory lane at the end of this 200 lap feature event, as things are quickly coming to a close as we're working on the second half of this 200 lap battle here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Austin Smith, Corey Crowell getting ready for the restart here as we'll get ready for our PeaceMaker Gaming Crank It Up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. Never mind, it is going to be our PeaceMaker Gaming Crank It Up caution flag here. The Crank It Up caution flag is going to be displayed as, once again, another restart in cautions breeding cautions. This time looks like Robert Tuwiscu, Brandon Puffenbarger, Gary Wright, and Lance Brantley are all going to get tied up here in this one as Tuwiscu just outside our top 5, loose out of corner number 2, comes back up the racetrack here after losing the rear end a little bit. He's trying to save it. Watch the car. Shoots down the racetrack towards the infield here. He tries to correct it. Unfortunately, overcorrects it, comes back up over the nose of the 51 ride of David Durant Jr. up into Lance Brantlinger. They come together. They wash up into the outside fence here. Heavy damage for the 8 ride, heavy damage for the 6. Then here comes Brandon Buffenbarger, Adolfo Castillo, Cameron Combs, all right there in this one, as well as they all get tied up there on the outside of corner number 3. Casey Gross trying to work his way through it as here comes the 16, gonna slam into the side of the 8 ride of Lance Brantlinger, and that was a whole lot of our playoff drivers right here in this one. So you take a look at the playoff drivers here collected in this spin. I don't know, is Tuwiscu part of our championship 12? I don't know if he is. I'm not 100% sure. Let's double check here. So I do believe he was in the last round. No, he wasn't. Unless he had the yellow banner. I'm confused on the yellow banner part. Alright, well that's interesting enough. I don't know why he's got the yellow banner on that car, but not part of the playoffs. Just messing with me there a little bit for Robert Tuwiscu. But Tuwiscu, the first car to go around. But you do know that David Durant Jr., Lance Brantlinger are part of our playoffs. Then here comes the 5 ride. A Puffenbarger, another one of our playoff competitors. Same with Adolfo Castillo. Same with the 15 of Cameron Combs. And the 77 ride of Casey Gross. That's about 6 of our 12 championship contenders all tied up there in corner number 3 and 4. And some pretty heavy hits for them here. Especially for that 51. Especially for the 8 ride of Brantlinger as Brantlinger hard up into the outside fence. Puffenbarger heavy left front damage there for himself, and then more contact as the 16 of David Wright, or Gary Wright, gets in there and gets a piece of them. So a bunch of cars tore up. As we do go back to green flag racing, we will get ready to go back to our PeaceMaker Gaming, crank it up. Hopefully this time no caution flag, and the curse will hopefully not continue for the rest of the afternoon as we crank it up here once again on PeaceMaker Gaming. Caution flag back out there on the racetrack. We did see a couple issues here during that last green flag run. We will take a look back and work our way through some of these yellow flags. Is right there. We just saw David Durant Jr. getting a little loose here behind that 00 of Colton Manish. Watch the 51 ride here on quarter exit. Looks like he's going to get a little loose right there, and unfortunately washes up the racetrack. Nowhere to go as Al Reed slams into the side of him there. Helps him go all the way around. The 51 stop there on the racetrack. That's what will bring out our yellow flag. We also saw there during the crank it up, we saw the 71 ride of Adolfo Castillo ending up into the outside fence here, and a lot of drivers running into issues. We saw Lance Brantlinger down and off the racetrack here. Take a look back as Brantlinger goes around down through the grass here, hard down into the inside fence right there. Another one of our playoff drivers running into issues. Now we saw him go down pit side here as well, so not sure what happened to him as he had to go down pit road. Let's play this forward just a little bit as he gets this car kind of pointed back in the right direction, gets it rolling here once again, has that damage, and as he tries to take it down pit side, the rear end steps out and around on it again. This is where we see the 31 ride and Al Reed come together as the 8 sideways there, trying to work his way back down pit road. You take a look at the number 3 and the 31 of Adolfo Castillo. We saw this contact as the 3 ride gets a big run, gets to the back bumper of the 31 right. Unfortunately makes some contact right there with Adolfo. Gets him sideways. He's trying to correct it. Unfortunately overcorrects it and slams up hard into the outside fence. Heavy damage there for him. You do see the 84 ride getting a piece of him. Looks like Casey Gross may have got a little contact there, but maybe not. But heavy right front damage. See that right front not even turning on the 31 ride, and unfortunately you got to take that car down pit side for an extended period of time here as everyone else rolls by him. That was not our caution flag, but fortunately a lot of our playoff drivers running into issues here in this one. This has been a very chaotic playoff race here this afternoon. A lot of drivers running into issues, but you do see one of our playoff drivers working his way back up towards the front of the field. It's the 00 of Colton Manish. Manish back into position number 4 as we go back to green flag racing. We'll continue here with the PeaceMaker Gaming Crank It Up. Alrighty, right there, you do see the caution flag coming back out there. Another couple of our playoff drivers running into issues. The first, Lance Brantlinger going around by himself on the front straightaway up into the outside fence. That was not the caution flag. This was the yellow flag. So the 99 gets into the inside berm right there, gets the car bent out of shape, starts to lose that rear end. David Durant Jr. going to get a piece of him right here. So a pair of our playoff drivers right there getting tied together, and as the 99 slides up the racetrack, here comes Caleb McKinney and Puffenbarger. Puffenbarger able to get around him, but McKinney gets up and into the outside fence there himself. Pretty heavy damage for that 76 machine as well. So a bunch of drivers running into issues. More of our playoff drivers having problems out here on the racetrack as another caution flag as these cautions continue to breed cautions out there on the speedway. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here once again. We'll jump on board here for this restart with the number 77 Casey Groves as we're going to get a quick word in here from our, let's go for our Outcast highlight video. Alrighty, as we go back to green flag racing, we do see the 23 Ryder Smith going around in the caution flag. Gonna come back out here as Smith goes for a quick loop-de-loop. Let's play this back and take another look at this number 23 machine as he's going to run into these issues. And unfortunately, this car going to go around and bring the caution flag back out here once again. Let's see if we get another look at this one. Let's see if we can take another look-see poo right here on this restart as just get back onto the throttle. Unfortunately, that car just going to go around and goes for that loop-de-loop, and as he's pointing the wrong direction, car still rolling in towards him. That's what will bring out that caution flag as he's right on the back bumper here of Al Reed and looking to try to make a move underneath, and unfortunately, the car is going to go around the WeatherTech machine. Unfortunate break right there for him, and some tough breaks right there for that 23 ride as we ride on board here with Casey Gross. Gross up inside the top 5 here for the 77 ride after running into a pair of early race issues. Now inside the top 5, sitting fairly pretty here on the speedway. See if he can keep it there. As Outcast Racing League says, looks like a difficult race. Definitely looks like a difficult race here for these drivers, especially as these laps continue to lead up and we continue to put rubber down onto the racetrack. The tires continue to fade away more and more and more. Definitely looking more of a tough race than what these drivers were expecting early on. It's Colton Manage back out in front there after those green flag pit stops. Manage leads the way with Kurt Sponsler back there on his back bumper. Cameron comes into position number 3 with Dom Salvo there in 4th. Casey Gross up inside the top 5. Joshua Neal back in 6th with David Durant Jr. Brandon Puffenbarger, Darrell Whitford, and Al Reed are top 10 here on the Speedway. A lot of these drivers look a whole lot worse for wear, so the beating and banging, the battling going to continue here as we still have a lot of laps left here. And we'll see the green flag come back at what number? Caution is this? Oh, brother, it's got to be caution flag number 8, 9, 10, something like that. We're somewhere up there. We're getting closer and closer to that double-digit number for certain here at North Wilkesboro Speedway as we do go back to green flag racing. And we're trying to get this cranked up in. And so I'm going to get a quick breaking, quickly trying to go pee. And I haven't really had a break to go pee in because every time we try to go back to green flag racing, we see that caution flag come back in. As Cameron Combs trying to work his way down low underneath the 19, looking to try to go after Kirk Swanson there in position number 2 as we'll continue with our PeaceMaker Fam. Look out, caution flag going to come back out here in this one. You know what? I think it's the crank it up, ladies and gentlemen. That's probably my bad. I think it's the crank it up that's creating these issues here. So we're going to finish the crank it up, and we're going to take a look and see what brings out the yellow flag here once again, and hopefully for the last time here this afternoon, but you just never know with a crazy race like this. A lot of beating and banging, a very tough racetrack, and these cars start to become more and more of a wild animal out there on the speedway. Let's take a look here. So some contact in front of the 99 right here of Chris Muse. If you watch the number 3 of Al Reed, looks like they're going to get up into the 51. He makes a little contact there down into the inside fence. It's a little bit more damage onto that 3 right, already pretty heavily damaged there for himself. But let's take a look at Chris Muse. As Muse back here behind him, he sees the contact, he sees these guys, he splits the middle, sends it into corner number 1. Unfortunately, a little too hot, loses that rear end. The car is going to go around. Johnny Thunder's going to T-bone the side of him there. Does look like the 16's going to get in there and get a big piece of him as well. Heavy left front damage there for Gary Wright as he slams into that back bumper of the 99 ride, and a couple more tore up race cars here in this one as the caution flags continue to stack up here this afternoon, but the action is non-stop here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. The strategy, I think, here in this race kind of went out the window a little while ago. I'm not sure if there's a whole lot of strategy left in this one other than try to keep that track position. Maybe try to save a little tire for maybe another late race caution flag, which is almost guaranteed at this point, and then potentially just trying to keep that track position. You can keep yourself out in front, you keep yourself away from all the carnage and mayhem that's back here behind you. They set you up for a great day here at the Speedway, as we've seen a lot of our drivers get collected, a lot of our playoff drivers run into issues. Al Reed, one of those. Luckily enough, he still had little bit of damage on that 3 machine, but the crew doing a good job trying to get it fixed back up and back into one piece out there on the racetrack. Gary Wright, he's ran into a lot of issues here as Al Reed, one of our playoff drivers. We do see Adolfo Castillo is actually off the racetrack now in the number 31 ride. So Adolfo officially being scored right now in the 20th position. Adolfo, Billy Jordan, Chad Lancaster, and Mike Killingbeck. Our final 4 drivers here on the day, all down and out of this race, as I do believe potentially Wayne Garland also out of this one. So we've lost about 5 drivers here in this feature event. The final driver out there in the 18th position is the 6th rider, Robert Tuiscu. Tuiscu rolls back there at 18th. We do go back to green flag racing. Colton Manich out in front for the most part. It's at the probable easiest day and at least the least amount of issues for the 00 ride, as he led a lot of laps early in this race. Lap 90 gave up that race lead. A couple different pit strategies for him, and has worked his way back to the front of the field, and now looks to stay there for the rest of this one. As we go back to green flag racing, we go right back to the caution flag here. It looks like another one of our playoff drivers going to continue to run into issues. It's the 8 of Lance Brantlinger. Brantlinger here trying to get going here for this restart. Al Reed trying to work underneath of him here, and Al's going to get a piece of him and spin him around right there as we go back to green flag. And see Johnny Thunders hard up into the outside fence right there. The number 16 going to get a piece of him. A heavy hit there for Gary Wright, as Gary really nowhere to go right here. Slams into the side of the 60 right, and then down into the inside wall as well. But for a restart, I'm not sure what Al Reed was doing here, trying to get everything he can, trying to maximize the day, but we were stacked up, ready to go back to green flag racing, or we were back green flag racing at this point, so he was just trying to get that spot. Sends it in down low, deep into the corner. Thought he saw something open underneath the 8 ride, and there was a little bit there. Unfortunately, not quite enough, as he's just going to get into that left rear quarter panel of the 8 right here, and that's going to spin Brantlinger around. Brantlinger going to go for that loop-de-loop. Al Reed going to try to just squeeze on by there and keep on rolling. Luckily enough, no contact for himself, but damage there for a bunch of drivers back behind him as Johnny Thunders hard into the outside fence. Brantlinger with heavy damage again, and Robert Tuiscu getting a piece of that as well. So more carnage, more mayhem out there on the racetrack, and I don't know if we can lose any more drivers here, ladies and gentlemen. I think Johnny Thunders here, his day may be over, as he's got heavy damage down on that 60 right. Looks like he may be down pit road for an extended period of time here. Gary Wright still rolling out there on the racetrack as he scored back in 17th, but we may have lost our 6th driver of the afternoon, as Thunders still down pit road trying to get that car repaired. As Colton Manich out in front, he's just looking to continue on surviving here at the front of the field. Puffenbarger hoping to not run into any more issues. Same with Kurt Sponsler, same with Casey Gross, or Cameron Combs, or David Duran Jr. is our top 6 all playoff drivers here. And then you see Gil McKinney back there in 8th. You see, where are we at here? We got Al Reed back in 13th. Chris Muse there in 14th. Brantlinger there in 15th. Adolfo Castillo all the way back in 20th. Chad Link, or Mike Killing back all the way back in 23rd. So it's been a pretty tough day for a lot of our playoff contenders, and was definitely became a wild card race here this afternoon, and survival of the fittest as Colt Manich back onto loud pedal. A good restart, but the 5 ride of Brandon Puffenbarger getting a great restart there as well, and stays right there to the outside of that 00 right. They battle door to door. Now Puffenbarger does have about 20 lap, almost 30 lap fresher tires than that 00 ride, so he's looking to try to use those fresher tires to his advantage, trying to work his way to the front of the field. But Colt Manich not going to give up an inch out there. Hang on, there goes the 15 ride of Cameron Combs. Combs is now going to go for a loop-de-loop down the back straightaway, and the caution flag will be displayed here once again. So the caution flag going to come back out as the 15 of Cameron Combs. He's had a fairly decent day. Hasn't got tied up in too many things, but now late in this race, running into an issue. That car just had a quarter number 2. Loses the rear end. He goes around there himself, and that will bring the yellow flag back out. So more issues, more drivers running into problems out there on the racetrack, and another caution flag. All the 00 out of Colt Manich needs to do is just continue to keep that 5 ride back there at bay. If he can just keep Puffenbarger back there behind him and all these other drivers back there behind him, he could potentially just cruise control to a victory here with all these yellow flags. We inch closer and closer to the checkered flag. Less than 50 laps left to go here in this one, and man, so far some craziness. I don't even know how many cautions we've had here. Let me see. So, what do we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was for the stage. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, I don't even know. We're way up there, chat. We're definitely double digits now on the sheet for caution flags here at North Wilkesboro Speedway, which is it's tough, man. The yellow flags definitely make it interesting. It's always awesome watching cars get destroyed out there on the racetrack, but it's never fun when you see it here multiple times out there on the racetrack, and when you see your friends, your brothers out there, some of your teammates having those issues, it becomes tougher and tougher, and then it makes things a little bit more aggravating as drivers are trying to rebound from those mistakes and they run or make more mistakes, or drivers that see that some of our other playoff contenders are having those issues. They try to push the subject. They know that this could be a big break for their playoff run, so they're trying to work their way closer to the front of the field to maximize their points, and that's when they end up making mistakes themselves, or pushing a little too hard, losing the rear end, going for a loop-de-loop like we just saw the 15 ride do, and it's created quite a bit of chaos here this afternoon as we'll get them stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing here. As down across the line we will see 40 more laps left to go here in this race. The 0-0 of Colton Manich out in front, but Puffenbarger down low looking for another big restart, looking to try to keep himself right here in the thick of things at the front of the field and trying to take this race lead away from the 0-0 ride of Manich here this afternoon. But Manich able to manage that race lead as down out of corner number 2, slides back in front of the 5 ride and stays out in front as they're 2-3 wide back there behind it. So 2-3 wide, battling back there throughout the field. Everybody trying to work their way up towards the front here. You do see the 23 rider Austin Smith not too long ago. We saw Smith go around and run into issues. He went down pit side. He's got some fresher tires and he's trying to roll his way back up towards the front. Same with Al Reed in that 3 machine last down pit road on lap number 145, and he's got some fresher tires than a lot of these drivers up inside our top 10, and he's looking to take advantage of that, trying to work his way back up through the field. Same with that 15 of Cameron Combs. As Combs right there in position number 10. Here comes Chris Muse and Caleb McKinney, who have both been tied up in multiple incidences here this afternoon. Brantlinger back there in 14th. Corey Crowell all the way back in 16th position now, as Corey Crowell did run into some issues here as well. Coming out of quarter number 2, loses that rear end, the same as we saw with the 15 ride of Cameron Combs, and then he kind of disappears there for a quick second and then finally reappears. No caution flag though for the 20 ride. That's a tough break there for Corey Crowell. No yellow flag being displayed as out in front Colton Manich continue to lead that way, trying to stretch out that race lead. Almost a second now between himself and Brandon Puffenbarger, as Puffenbarger sits there in position number 2. David Durant Jr. back there in 3rd as he looks to work himself around the 49 of Kurt Sponsler and the 77 of Casey Gross, and he's going to be able to make that move and get around both of those drivers and work his way into position number 3. Casey Gross, though, right there working down low as here comes Austin Smith. They're 3 wide back there for position number 4 on the racetrack. Casey bails out of that one. Seeing that they were 3 wide, had a car to his inside and his outside, but now going to put himself into a tough spot and almost up into the outside fence as he almost goes around. We did see one driver down off the racetrack, and there is the caution flag. So the caution flag is going to be displayed. More drivers running into issues, one of them being a playoff contender here, Casey Gross. Let's play this back. Let's throw it into reverse here as Casey down the front straightaway sees this 3 wide. Got a car to his inside, to his outside, decides to bail out of it. Then right here, you see the number 82, I do believe, gonna come up the racetrack ever so slightly. He's gonna take that left rear quarter panel of Casey's 77 ride. Is they're bound side by side here. Caleb McKinney in there. You see the 99 ride. He gets a little piece of that one. As Casey, luckily enough, able to get that car pointed back in the right direction, gets it rolling here, and fairly minimal contact there for Casey. We did see the 82 ride, who was the initial driver to get a piece of him here, Joshua Neal, as he gets into the 77. The 76 gets into his back end. The 99 in there as well. He gets up into the grass, and that's where this car's going to go down and around through the infield grass right there, trying to get it rolling back onto the speedway, and that's where we will see the caution flag be displayed. So yellow flag quickly coming out once again, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing in just a couple more moments as we'll get them stacked up, ranked up here once again this afternoon, as we'll get another quick word in here from our sponsors over at N Sea NSB. Alrighty, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing here from North Wilkesboro Speedway. It's been a bit of a crazy race, a lot of back and forth action, a lot of ups and downs for a lot of our drivers, including majority of our playoff contenders here this afternoon. As these drivers try to continue to battle, continue to race their way to the checkered flag. 30 laps of racing action left to go here in this one. Is out in front, Colton Manage in the Williamsburg Contracting. Shenco, Custom Diecast, and Double Zero Ride leads the way here this afternoon. As he is out in front, showing these drivers how to get it done. Brandon Buffenbarger there in position number 2. Has been working to his back bumper here, especially on these restarts. His stayed kind of glued right to the back bumper of that number 00 machine. David Rand Jr. up into third as here comes Austin Smith now back inside the top 5 as he sits there in position number 4. The Williamsburg Contracting Racing number 19 ride of Dom Salvo up into position number 5 now as he works to the outside of Cameron Combs. Combs will stay back in position number 6 and the 19 will stay inside the top 5. Al Reed back there in 7th with Chris Muse there in 8th. Corey Crowell and Caleb McKinney going to round out our top 10 here on the Speedway. You do see Darrell Whitford, Casey Gross right there. Is look out, more contact, couple more drivers turned around down into the infield, and there is the caution flag. Chris Muse and Corey Crowell going to come together, and that will bring out the caution flag here once again. Let's take a look back and see how this one gets started. It is almost side by side here. Corey Crowell in behind the 99, and looks like he's just going to get in there a little too deep down low. Comes up and into the right rear or left rear quarter panel here of the fast track number 99 ride. Is tries to get a different angle, tries to work to the inside here of Muse. Unfortunately, Muse really not giving a whole lot of room there, but doesn't really have to as he had that position, and Tony Ryan gets a piece of him. Around goes Chris Muse, one of our playoff contenders. And there's Caleb McKinney also getting tied up in that one. McKinney gets a big piece of that 99 machine. More damage to the front end of the Overton's ride as Chris Muse goes around a couple more of our playoff competitors tied up here in this one. And another restart around the corner here this afternoon. So another restart brewing here for the 00 Colton Manage as we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing here once again. Alrighty, as Manage out in front, continuing to manage this race lead. Do you guys think that the 00 ride stays out in front? Do you think he keeps this race lead, or do you think somebody can figure out a way to get around him here? As we get ready to go back to green flag racing, we're getting ready to find back out here as Colton Manage looking to maximize his day, not only points-wise, but also trying to pick up this race win and trying to lock his way in to the next round of our Outcast Racing League playoffs here, powered by Williamsburg Contracting. And that 00, I know, fitting better ride to be the first to lock his way into that championship race in a couple weeks. And the 00 looking super fresh out there on the speedway. He's looking to get it done, but he's got a lot of fast cats back there behind. We'll have to wait and see if he can pick up the dump here this afternoon, as we did see a few more drivers head down pit side, take this gamble. We did see Brandon Buffenbarger there head down pit road. We also saw Caleb McKinney, Kurt Sponsler also come down pit lane. Robert Tuwisk came down pit road. Gary Wright down pit side. Lance Brantlinger also made his way down pit road and is now back onto the lead lap here as well in the 8 ride. So 17 drivers out there on the racetrack, 17 drivers still on the lead lap, and we'll get ready to go back to green flag racing. Fresh tires a little deeper in the field. Older tires here at the front of the pack. We'll have to wait and see who can hang on to it, as right now on the racetrack, the oldest tires by any of our active drivers is our race leader, the 00 of Colton Manage, on the oldest set out there. Last down pit road on lap number 69. And the lap, or not 69, 96. Last down pit road on lap 96 here this afternoon. Cameron Combs and Dom Salvo both down pit side on lap 102, so they got a little bit newer tires than our race leader, but then everybody else is kind of all over the place. And a lot of fresher tires deeper in the field there. Last down pit road on that this caution flag as we go back to green flag racing. Colton Manich looking to try to hang on to this race lead, but here you go. David Durant Jr. down low. Going to drive it in there deep. Looks for the big run. Looking to try to take it away. He's going to lead us down the back straightaway. So the cartwheel, Clorox, number 51 of David Durant Jr. looking to jump up and take this race lead away, but the caution flag does come back. We'll have to wait and see if iRacing scores him as the race leader, if they will give that race lead back to the 00 ride here. As take a look and see what happened. Looked like Daryl Whitford gonna run into some issues here in the number 21 machine, the Lugnuts Racing ride. Right there, looks like Caleb McKinney gonna get a piece of him. Nowhere to go for Kurt Sponsler. Gets a little contact into that, but majority of that contact going to the front end of the 20 rider, Corey Crowell. As let's take a look here. Gets a big run through the middle here for the 76 and gets to the outside of the 21 then. Fortunately, trying to give enough room for the 20 ride to his outside. Looks like McKinney comes down the racetrack and hooks the number 21 of Whitford just ever so slightly right here. See the car kind of edge down the racetrack, trying to give the 20 ride enough room there to the outside. Unfortunately, was not clear of the 21. Hits him up into the outside fence. Nowhere to go for Corey Crowell. He gets some damage there for the 20 and the 76. And you see the 49 ride of Kurt Sponsler. He's on the binder. He's trying to stay out of it, but right there does get a piece of the 21 ride and go all the way around there the other way. And fortunate contact, some more damage there for another one of a couple of our playoff drivers. And fortunately for Whitford, he doesn't go around there on the racetrack. There's really nothing he could do except for hang on and enjoy the ride as we'll get everyone ready to go back to green flag racing. And it does look like David Durant Jr. will be scored as our race leader. So Colton Manich now back into second. Austin Smith there in third. Cameron Combs back up inside the top 5, and they're in fourth. Dom Salvo back in position number 5 as Salvo back there in that 5th position. He's got Al Reed there behind him. Casey Gross, Joshua Neal, Caleb McKinney, Corey Crowell, our top 10 here on the Speedway. There's a lot of tore-up race cars here, a lot of drivers that have ran into an abundance of issues here this afternoon, and somehow or another, they're still rolling, they're still fighting, they're still looking for every single point and every inch they can get out there on the racetrack. As this one coming to a close here in a quick hurry. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing with 16 more laps left to go here in this race. So 16 laps left here in this one, man. And oh, brother, this has been a lot of craziness all evening long. If you guys have been enjoying the racing action, make sure you hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the PeaceMaker family here today. As another good restart there for the 51, as out in front it's David Durant Jr. looking to hang on to this race lead, but Colton Manich right there behind him has been the best of the business all evening long here. He's been able to stay out in front, lead a lot of laps in this race. Only a few drivers have been able to actually pass that 00 line here this afternoon, and here he is trying to still put the pressure onto the back bumper of David Durant Jr. even with the older tires here. Looking once again for the race lead, and he is going to take it away from David Durant Jr. So David back into second here once again. Now here comes Cameron Combs, here comes Austin Smith, both on attack mode, both looking to try to work their way around that 51 machine. Casey Gross now finds himself inside the top 5 here, so Casey having himself a day as well as he rolls right up here trying to join that battle inside the top 5. As he tries to look for the race win here this evening. Al Reed back there in 6. Dom Salvo slides all the way back now into 7 with Caleb McKinney, Neal, and Crowell rounding out our top 10. Kurt Sponsler back there in 11 with the 5 of Brandon Buffenbarger there in 12th. Chris Muse back there in 13th with Robert Tuiscu, Lance Brandlinger, Daryl Whitford rounding out our top 16. Gary Wright there in 17th with Johnny Thunders off the racetrack. Wayne Garland, Anthony Adolfo Castillo, Billy Jordan, Chad Lancaster, and Mike Killingback also off of the speedway here in this one. So unfortunately 6 drivers are out of this race as of right now. 17 out there, still battling for the win this afternoon, but they got to try to figure out a way to get around this 00 ride of Colton Manage is right there behind him last time around. The quickest lap of this race, the only driver to break the 18-second bracket of this feature event is this 23 ride of Austin Smith. Smith just laid a 18.92, and he is there. He is ready to try to take this race lead in the win away from Colton Manage. Manage trying to hold him back there at bay, but the number 23 coming on strong here late in this race. 2 laps in a row, he was in the 18-second bracket, a point that nobody has been able to get to all evening long. Robert Tuiscu did hit a 19.000. He's got the second fastest lap time here of the day, but unfortunately Tuiscu finds himself all the way back there in the 14th, 15th position here as Austin Smith running down into the 18-second area sits in position number 2. And he's right there on the back bumper of our race leader as Colton Manage continuing to lead the way. Manage looking to get the job done with only 7 more laps left to go. Manage knows there's so much on the line here with this race win. All the points but the win, and you're into the championship 8. You get an opportunity to battle and compete for the championship here this year. You can breathe easily next weekend knowing that you don't have to worry about points. You don't have to worry about running into issues and not having your opportunity, or having your opportunity maybe taken away from you next week's race if you're not locked in. But if you're locked in, you don't have to worry at all. You don't even have to be there. You can just cruise control the back of the pack and not have to worry about points, not have to worry about anything, as you know it's a heads-up race in that championship 8 battle in a couple weeks from now. As down low, the 23 of Austin Smith trying to take that race win away from him, the opportunity to lock his way into that championship 8 contention here for Colton Manage. As Manage rolls the outside groove here in this one, but Austin Smith down low, able to put the foot to the throttle here, and he is looking to try to open up that race lead as he's just able to edge out in front of the 00. So Manage still trying to battle back here. He's got way older tires, about 40 lap older tires compared to the 00 of Colton Manage, and I think it's starting to show as Manage does slide back into second. Now here comes Cameron Combs trying to put that pressure onto his back bumper. Here comes Casey Gross. Casey, the best tires out there compared to our top 3 competitors, and he's looking to try to keep on working his way up and through the field and trying to salvage a great day here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Same with Caleb McKinney, who's back there in position number 5. Kurt Sponsler up into 6th here. Sponsler has had a very good day. Both of those stages able to work his way up towards the front of the field and able to gain some good stage points on the afternoon, and now looking to finish off this race, maybe potentially inside the top 5, as right now sits back in position number 6 with the white flag has been displayed. So Austin Smith out in front, nice and easy, down through quarter number 1 and out at quarter number 2. You'll take us down the back straightaway for the final time here this afternoon. Austin Smith down through quarter number 3 and out of quarter number 4. He came on strong when it counted, and he's able to get the win here in our 3rd playoff race of the season at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Austin Smith gets it done, picks up that win, and will pull the 23 up into the North Wilkesboro Speedway victory lane. What a run and what a drive here this afternoon for the 23 as he was able to take that late race lead away from Colton Manage. Manage will have to settle in for a 2nd place run here this evening, and Cameron Combs coming home in position number 3. But it's all Austin Smith as Smith gets the win. He gets the dub. Here comes the 20 ride to congratulate him, give him a little love tap there onto the bumper, and as the 23 will get ready to burn down the house after picking up the dub here this afternoon. Man, what a run, what a drive, and what a finish right there for all these drivers. As I don't know who this is, but they are going to move out of the broadcasting channel because I don't know who that is. As we'll get ready to pull our race winners up here into the broadcast booth, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, Austin Smith. Smith getting the job done, putting himself up and into victory lane. Man, what a drive, what a performance. here this afternoon as we'll get ready to pull all these drivers up and into the booth. We got Colton Manich in there already, but we'll wait for Austin Smith to jump in here first. As Michael Smith says, nice win, Austin. Cheering on Austin here this afternoon, as definitely a great win there for Mr. Smith here this evening, as we'll get ready to pull him up and into the booth. Let me see if we can show a little something different here. Let me see if we can show photo, maybe. Is that gonna work? Let me see here. I don't know if that's gonna work or not. I don't think that worked. How in the world did I get this going? Hide that. Show photo. Photo. Helmet if no photo. There we go. As we'll get ready to pull Austin Smith up here into the broadcast booth. Smith coming home in position number 1, picking up the win here. Let's get a round of applause and some congratulations for the number 23 here this afternoon, as we'll pull him up here into the broadcast booth.
Like
hey, Austin, it's Aaron up
round.
here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, gotcha.
Austin, man, what a run, what a drive here this afternoon, as you were able to take that late race lead away from the 0-0 of Colton Manich and drive yourself into victory lane after what was a very crazy, chaotic race. A lot of caution flags, a lot of contact and beating and banging. You were kind of surrounded there, got tied up in a couple issues yourself, but you were able to rebound late in this one and steal this win away from Manich here this afternoon, man. Take us back through this race, and how does it feel to be back up here in victory lane?
Yeah, it feels great to be back up in victory lane. I really didn't think I was going to get up there, to be honest with you. It was kind of up and down race. You know, I had tried something different. I think at the end of stage 2, or I think it was stage 2, I had pit, you know, like 20 laps before the end of that stage, and I was just trying to get a different strategy than everybody else. But yeah, I got caught up in some stuff. I spun myself off of 2 at one point, so I had to battle back after that. But happy to get it done. It was super fun in those last like 10 or 15 laps, racing with Colton and Cameron. They always race super clean, so it was really fun.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a lot of fun. Some great battling out there, especially up towards the front of the field. But take us through a lap around this racetrack, man. What do you think was the main issue here for some of the contact or the spins here this afternoon? Is it just that tough of a racetrack, or were the tires just fading away that much and you guys couldn't get any new ones?
It was just really, really hard on corner entry, knowing how much brake pressure to put down so you're not locking up your front tires, because as soon as you go a little bit too far with the brake, you lock up that tire, I mean, you're taking out 2 or 3 cars in front of you. There's just nothing you can do about it at that point. So just had to try to remind myself to be patient on braking. There was one point where I almost took out David, and I feel bad for him. I apologize to him, but it was just one of those scenarios where I got too hard on the brakes, locked them up, and just couldn't do anything about it. So that was the most challenging part. And then corner exit, I mean, you got to have an egg under your throttle. Can't get back into it right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely seen a lot of drivers run into those issues too hard into the corner, or too hard back onto the throttle coming out of the corner and looping their cars around here. But you're able to try to put it all together here. You're trying to work yourself back up through the field, and you strike at the right time as you're able to jump up, take that race lead away from the 0-0, and pull yourself up into the North Wilkesboro Speedway victory lane. Austin, who would you like to thank for another great run and another strong performance here this afternoon?
Yeah, I need to thank my entire team at Midwest Motorsports. Always helping each other out, giving each other information. Couldn't do it without them. And then just need to thank everybody at Orel, the admins who show up and kind of help with all race control and all that stuff. It's fun racing on Sundays with these guys. So thanks for them and everybody that shows up.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Austin, a great run, a great drive. Congratulations on the race win here this afternoon, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Sunday.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night, and don't party too hard down there in victory lane.
Thanks.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Austin Smith. As Smith picks up the win, he pulls himself up here into victory lane. We'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher, the 00, the Williamsburg Contracting Shenco Custom Diecast ride of Colton Manage. Hey, Colton, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker Broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yeah, man, I got you.
Colton, brother, a solid run, a great drive all evening long. We saw you lead the first 90 laps of this race until finally we see somebody get around you. You take that car down pit side, trying to get those fresh tires, and then you got to try to work yourself back up through this field. Honestly, giving up that track position, trying to play some of that pit strategy before that second stage came to a close, but it didn't come without that risk of getting tied up in some of these issues that we saw throughout the evening with so many caution flags, so many tore up race cars. Luckily enough, you keep yourself for the most part out of all that action, and you get back to the front of the field. You start leading this race once again. You're looking to run away with it. Unfortunately, caution after caution after caution, and they continue to get right back to your rear bumper, trying to figure out what you're doing on these restarts. And there in those final couple, we were able to see that number 23 find his way around you and take this win away from yourself this afternoon.
Yeah, it was quite the race, man. I gotta say though, if I'm gonna lose to anybody, like I don't mind losing to Austin, I don't mind losing to Cameron. Those guys up there, like we were just talking right before you pulled us up for the interview, is all of us are up front, we're racing clean, we're giving each other the room. There were so many opportunities where Cameron or Austin could have drove me up the track, Cameron could have laid the bumper to me and moved me. Well, we do bump doors and fenders a little bit. We keep it clean and we keep it nice, respectful racing. And while leading 149 laps and not winning stings a little bit. At the end of the day, I was thinking big picture, and I was telling my teammates in Discord, really, I just want to shoot for a top 5. Even leading all these laps, like I'm just trying to rack up as many points as I can, go into the next round to make sure I qualify for that championship race, and then hopefully, be out front when it matters there. So, yeah, all in all, great race. A lot of respect for Austin and Cameron with the way that they drove up front, and I got to run with Brandon a lot, Kurt. A lot of these guys had really good runs. David, everybody just showed a lot of respect, at least at the front of the field. And I know it's chaos in the back, but looking at the results, there's one driver that finished with 0 incident points. I'm pretty proud of that one too. So yeah, all the points I can get, I'm going to take them right now.
Absolutely, brother. Trying to work your way into that championship 8 race, trying to give yourself an opportunity at the championship, and you ran a pretty perfect race here on the racetrack, man. Not a lot of contact or anything else, and obviously keeping yourself out in front, leading a lot of these laps, and trying to earn as many points as possible throughout those stages, and having yourself a pretty ideal day as everyone else back there behind you was struggling, and a lot of our playoff drivers were running into issues and having some tough breaks out there on the speedway, where we saw drivers like Mike Killingback, who went down pit road early in this race, never came back out. We saw Adolfo Castillo run into issues, and then we saw everyone else run into problems as well, like Brant Langer and Chris Muse, Al Reed, and so many others have their ups and downs throughout this race, and you're just out in front watching that all unfold and able to drive it home for a solid second place finish this afternoon as our highest finishing playoff driver.
Yeah, and see, that's huge. You talk about that, and don't think that we aren't paying attention to that when we're driving. I'm one of the ones that when I'm racing, I've got your stream up, so I'm constantly looking and seeing what's happening, who's bringing out the cautions, who's where with quick fixes, who's where with points and where they're at, and if they've been caught up in wrecks and things like that. That way, I know exactly what I need and where I need to place myself, because it's a big thing, risk versus reward. And like I said, I could have been a little bit more aggressive with Austin there at the end, but I knew he had 30 lap pressure tires. I knew what my big picture was, and I knew that if we did make contact, which I know, like I said, he's always super respectful and incredibly clean. And don't think I don't forget what he did for at Talladega for me. But things like that, I just weigh out those pros and cons behind the wheel and make sure I make every decision possible to get obviously my team and sponsors where they want us to be, and that's here in the top 3 talking to you.
Absolutely, brother. Well, another great run, a solid performance, and one step closer to potentially putting yourself into that championship race here this afternoon. Colton, congrats on the great run, man. And who would you like to thank for such a great performance here this afternoon?
So first and foremost, everybody that's part of this league, I say it every time I get the chance to be interviewed by you. But all the competitors, you for what you do. Like I said, I enjoy the broadcast. I enjoy being able to have the instant replay in race. And then all the sponsors, Williamsburg Contracting, Aaron, who owns and operates that company, big supporter of myself, Outcast Racing League. Huge thanks to him, Shenco Custom Diecast, everybody that's a part of that, and all my family and friends that continue to support me, and my grandmother and Pop who helped make this thing go round. And like I said, a huge shout out to Austin, Cameron, all those guys that I got to race with up front today. It was a blast, and I just appreciate them just as much, as everybody else out there that's a part of this thing with racing the way that they do.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Colton, another great run, another great race here for you at North Wilkesboro Speedway. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next weekend, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth. Maybe one spot better up in Victory Lane, but another top 3 run and potentially a berth into that Championship 8 battle in a few weeks from now.
For sure, man. I can't wait. Thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for Colton Manich as Manich comes home in position number 2 here this afternoon in that 00 machine. As we'll get ready to pull in our 3rd place finisher, Cameron Combs. Cameron coming home there in that 3rd spot. We'll pull him up into the broadcast booth. Hey, Cameron, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. They get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Cameron, man, a great run, a great drive here this afternoon as you're able to work yourself up into position number 3, but it didn't come without a challenge here this afternoon, man, as there was a lot of beating and banging, a lot of issues, and a lot of drivers were running into problems here this afternoon, and yourself included, having a couple of spills out there on the speedway, having some contact, but you're able to stick with it, keep yourself out of majority of the trouble, and put yourself up here into a solid podium run.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough race. I had that spin. I started from the back just to try to help keep the car clean, and just a real tough track. Every time you get on the throttle, the car wanted to walk around on you. I think that's where you've seen most of our incidents come from, but the track was very tough.
Yeah, definitely a very tough track. Obviously, we saw a lot of drivers running into issues, a lot of cautions, a lot of spins and spills out there on the speedway, and how do you stay focused out there during a race like this with so many things going on, so many different playoff drivers running into issues, and that's sitting in the back of your mind, knowing that you want to try to earn as many points and finish in front of those other playoff competitors to try to help yourself out and advance into that, 8th and final round of our playoffs here this afternoon.
Yeah, that's the thing. You want to try to notice who's getting in wrecks and who's using up their fast repairs or tires. I have your broadcast running in the background, so I kind of keep a mental note of that and just kind of keep track of who's involved in stuff. And it's hard to stay in the mindset, especially when you spin and you drop all the way to the back. You got to kind of gather yourself and regroup and try to work yourself back up to the front.
Yeah, absolutely, and we saw you able to do that a few times here this afternoon as you did work yourself back up towards the front, and you're able to finish up here towards the front as well. Some good hard racing there late in the race between yourself and Colton Manich, and that 23 of Austin Smith. Unfortunately, you got to settle in for a 3rd place finish, but could have been a whole lot worse here this afternoon for yourself, and being able to rebound and battle and put yourself into a top 3 situation's got to feel pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. We had a pretty good battle there the last 10 or so laps with me and Colton in the 23, so it was definitely a fun last few laps there.
Absolutely. Well, Cameron, a great run, a solid performance here this afternoon. Who would you like to thank for your great drive out there on the racetrack?
I just got to thank everybody at Outcast that puts this on. Thank Aaron with Williamsburg, Colton with Shenco, and all the admins, all the teams, everybody that makes this league go round and round every week.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Cameron, we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next weekend, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth and potentially locking your way into that Championship 8 battle here in a few weeks.
Hopefully.
Beauty. Enjoy the rest of your night, Cameron, and congrats again on the 3rd place run.
Thanks, Aaron. You too.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Cameron Combs. Combs coming home there in position number 3. A very solid run, a very solid drive all evening long for these competitors. Man, that was a bit of a crazy race, a bit of a wild one, but it was definitely to be expected here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. We've seen so many crazy races like this in real life, and now we see them here in iRacing as well, as this is a tough racetrack, and unfortunately a lot of tore up equipment here this afternoon, and probably a whole lot of hurt feelings and upset drivers after not having the runs or the performances that they were hoping for, and maybe some of that contact and some of the aggression boiling over here and hitting the tipping point this afternoon. But it comes to a close, and these drivers will have to get locked in and look forward here to next week's race and see if they can try to rebound or re-perform like they did this afternoon, and see if they can work their way into our final 8 drivers for our championship here this year. And unfortunately, that will do it for us here from North Wilkesboro. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in. Everyone with the likes, the comments, the shares, I appreciate each and every single one of you. I'm going to end the live here, and then we're going to get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here for the second time this afternoon. It's the Winter Nationals coming right up in just a little bit. The Winter Nationals, powered by Sling and Dirt Series, is about to come up here. The super late models about to go to battle here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the dirt track at Charlotte, for a big race there. A lot of money on the line, a lot of cash to be won, and then as soon as that race ends, we'll be hopping right back into the server with another race, as we have the Q West Series, the big block modifieds in their, I do believe, 4th or 5th race of the season after that race. So 3 big races, 3 big shows here this afternoon, and we can't wait to get ready to go from the pavement here at North Wilkesboro all the way down to Charlotte, as we're going to hit up some dirt track racing for the rest of the afternoon. But thank y'all for tuning in, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out for now, baby. Peace out for now, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you guys back in here in about 30 minutes from now as we get ready to go back to Green Flag Racing.